speculation is running rampant about what comes next for the purple and gold. The focus now turns to the front office, and the direction they will take in an off-season that could very well redefine the team's trajectory. In the immediate aftermath of the defeat, the management might be inclined to focus on bolstering the support around James and Doncic. However, it's vitally important that they also consider the long-term future of the franchise. Balancing the immediate needs with the long-term sustainability of the team is a delicate task facing the Lakers management. Assuming that he doesn't hang up his boots and retire, James still plays a significant role in the team's immediate plans. However, he doesn't factor in their long-term strategies. This predicament makes James a somewhat expendable asset if the team's aim becomes more focused on future planning and securing the future of Luka Doncic when his free agency period approaches. Doncic, still in the prime of his career, is a generational talent who thrives with the ball in his hands. While the pairing of James and Doncic brought moments of brilliance, it also exposed certain redundancies in their games. Both players are dominant playmakers who control the pace and require a high usage rate. This overlap may be limiting the full potential of the offense, particularly when surrounded by role players who struggle to find their rhythm without consistent touches or a clear offensive structure. An interesting perspective came to light on The Skip Bayless Show, where Michael Rappaport contributed his opinion on James. He believes that LeBron doesn't blend well with the current Lakers team, going as far as calling him a vibe killer. "Parts of it worked," said Rappaport, referring to the James-Doncic partnership. "Obviously, it didn't work enough. I think it's time to move on. I believe he depletes the team's energy. Unless they can bring in extra help, it would be in their best interest to let him go or move beyond him. There were times when he was among the top 5 players, and sometimes in the top 10. They underperformed in the playoffs. I think he's a mood wrecker." The prospect of parting ways with arguably the greatest player basketball has ever seen might seem preposterous. However, such a move could provide the Lakers with more flexibility and a clearer vision for the future. It's widely acknowledged that James and Doncic have fairly similar playing styles. Both excel when they have the ball and aren't necessarily top-tier defenders, especially considering the energy they need to expend on their offense. There's also the concern that relying on LeBron James to carry the load year after year is simply unsustainable. His age and mileage are significant factors. Even though he still performs at a high level, the physical toll of an 82-game season followed by the playoffs is immense. Doncic, on the other hand, represents the future, a star around whom a new core can be built. At present, the looming presence of James on the team magnifies the urgency to win a championship. Removing him from the equation could potentially alleviate this pressure on the younger players, giving them space to grow and develop their skills. This could also take some heat off J.J. Redick, who is beginning his second year as the team's head coach and is still finding his feet in this role. Redick, a former sharpshooter and basketball analyst, has shown glimpses of potential as a coach. However, he's navigating the immense pressure of leading one of the most storied franchises in sports while managing 2 superstar egos. A more balanced and youth-oriented roster might better align with Redick's modern approach to the game. Ultimately, it may be a tough call to cut James from the team, even if it's in the Lakers' best interest. They won't get much value in return for a trade, and it's doubtful that LeBron would willingly want to leave. Nevertheless, it will be intriguing to see if this idea becomes a real discussion point this break, especially with LeBron's whopping $52 million player option hanging in the balance. Adding to the complexity is the fact that any move involving James would dominate the headlines. The Lakers would need to manage the public relations fallout, the potential fan backlash, and the locker room dynamics. But bold moves have defined this franchise in the past, and another might be necessary to stay competitive in a league that's constantly evolving. In conclusion, the Los Angeles Lakers are at a critical juncture, both in the immediate aftermath of a disappointing season and in terms of their long-term future. The decisions they make in the coming months could shape the future of the franchise for years to come. The stakes are high, and the basketball world will be watching closely. The Los Angeles Lakers find themselves on the precipice of uncertainty as they approach the upcoming season, with one of the biggest question marks surrounding the future of point guard Austin Reaves. Reaves, who has been a cornerstone of the team's roster in recent years, is currently facing the dilemma of whether or not to don the iconic purple and gold Lakers uniform for another season. This predicament comes in the wake of Reaves' lackluster performance during the recent playoffs, which has left many wondering if he still has a future with the team. Under the terms of his existing contract, Reaves has the option to extend his tenure with the Lakers for another 4 years. This extension would be worth an estimated $89.2 million, a sum that is not to be scoffed at. However, speculation has been rife that Reeves might decline this offer, opting instead to enter the fray of free agency in the hopes of securing a more lucrative deal with another team. This piece of insider information was first reported by renowned journalist Ricardo Sand of Sports Illustrated. While losing a player of Reeves' caliber would be a blow to any team, his departure could also potentially alleviate some of the pressures facing the Lakers' front office. If Reeves were to leave, it would save the team from having to navigate the often murky waters of trade deals, allowing them to focus on bringing in new talents to bolster their roster. This could be a silver lining for the Lakers, who have had a somewhat strained relationship with Reeves since their unsatisfactory exit from the playoffs. At the dawn of the 2024-25 NBA season, Austin Reeves was considered virtually untouchable. His impressive development and consistent performances had made him a key figure in the Lakers lineup. Now, however, the situation has changed dramatically. Reeves enjoyed an outstanding regular season, posting career-best averages of 20.2 points, 4.5 rebounds, 5.8 assists, and 1.1 steals per game. He even set a personal scoring record, dropping an incredible 45 points in a single game against the Indiana Pacers in February. However, this high level of play did not carry over into the playoffs. During the Lakers' 5-game postseason run against the Minnesota Timberwolves, Reeves' shooting percentage dipped from 46% to a disappointing 41%. His points per game also saw a significant drop, averaging just 14.9 points. Perhaps most concerning was the decrease in his assist average, which fell to a paltry 3.3. These numbers were especially troubling given the team's desperate need for a reliable secondary scorer and playmaker alongside LeBron James and Luka Doncic. Yes, Luka Doncic is now one of the focal points of the Lakers franchise. After arriving in a blockbuster trade during the previous offseason, the Slovenian superstar was expected to complement LeBron and elevate the Lakers to a championship contender. While the regular season showed flashes of brilliance between the two, including stretches of electric offense and clutch shot-making, the playoffs painted a much grimmer picture. Both stars struggled to find a rhythm as a duo, and their lack of defensive prowess was often exposed by the younger, faster Timberwolves. The exit in the first round sparked conversations within the organization about the long-term viability of the LeBron-Doncic pairing. And with Austin Reeves falling short of expectations in the postseason, the Lakers face even more questions about who should remain a part of their core moving forward. Having a player like Reeves on the roster during the regular season can be a significant asset, particularly in securing a favorable ranking and home court advantage for the postseason. However, the playoffs require a level of consistency that Reeves was simply unable to deliver. His disappearing act under the brightest lights left a void that neither Doncic nor James could completely fill, especially when the supporting cast failed to step up. At present, Reeves commands a hefty $42.5 million per year from the Lakers' payroll. If he were to leave, this would free up a substantial amount of money, giving general manager Rob Pelinka more flexibility to delve into the NBA market and potentially bring in some fresh talent. This could be a game-changer for the Lakers, allowing them to rebuild and possibly come back stronger in the next season. It's also important to note that with Anthony Davis no longer part of the Lakers roster, having departed during last year's offseason, the team lacks a dominant interior presence on both ends of the court. This has further complicated their ability to compete at the highest level, especially when teams like Denver and Minnesota boast elite big men. The potential loss of Reeves, combined with the continued aging of LeBron James and the high usage required by Luka Doncic, creates an inflection point for the franchise. Will they double down and make another run with this core? Or will they begin to shift gears, thinking more about the next chapter of Lakers basketball? If Reeves decides to test free agency, the Lakers might not even have the chance to match a competing offer, depending on cap space and timing. That risk, combined with his declining playoff performance, puts immense pressure on the front office to make the right call, not just for today, but for the seasons to come. In the end, this offseason could very well mark the end of Austin Reeves' tenure in Los Angeles. His journey from undrafted rookie to playoff starter is nothing short of inspiring, but the NBA is a business, and sentimentality often takes a back seat to strategy. If the Lakers are to re-establish themselves as true contenders, every piece of the puzzle must be re-evaluated, including Reeves. What happens next could redefine the Lakers' future. And with fans, analysts, and rivals all watching closely, the pressure has never been higher. The Lakers are in dire need of a reliable and experienced presence in the paint. Enter Brook Lopez, the 7'1" veteran center from the Milwaukee Bucks, who could be a viable option in free agency. Lopez previously played for the Lakers during the 2017-18 season and has since reinvented himself as one of the league's premier 3-and-D big men. Despite his advanced age, Lopez will turn 37 before the start of the next season. He remains a capable shot blocker and floor spacer. In the 2023-24 regular season, Lopez appeared in 80 games and averaged 13.0 points per game with highly efficient shooting splits, .509 from the field, .373 from beyond the arc, and .826 from the free throw line. He also chipped in 5.0 rebounds, 1.9 blocks, 1.8 assists, and 0.6 steals per game, solid numbers for a veteran center. However, his postseason performance left much to be desired. During the Bucks' first-round playoff series against the Indiana Pacers, Lopez saw his role diminished. Head coach Doc Rivers opted to start Bobby Portis instead, prioritizing youth and agility over experience. The move had mixed results. While Portis provided better mobility on both ends of the court, the Bucks' interior defense suffered in Lopez's absence. Still, Rivers stood by the decision, and Lopez ended the series with a disappointing stat line: 5.0 points per game, shooting .364 from the field and .267 from deep, with only 1.6 rebounds, 1.0 blocks, and 0.8 assists per game. Keith Smith, a respected analyst from Spotrac, believes that Portis will likely remain with Milwaukee, further casting doubt on Lopez's future with the Bucks. Smith notes that while Lopez could be an interesting free agent target for multiple teams, he expects the veteran to seek a contract that benefits the team as much as himself, possibly hinting at a willingness to take a pay cut to join a contender. This is where the Lakers could enter the picture. Ben Stinar from Fast Break on SI suggests that Lopez might be the exact type of player the Lakers should pursue. Stinar acknowledges that Lopez is past his prime, but emphasizes that he still possesses a valuable skill set, particularly for a team in desperate need of rim protection and floor spacing. He argues that if the Lakers can sign Lopez at a team-friendly price, it could be a shrewd move that pays dividends in the short term. Adding Lopez to a roster led by Luka Doncic could create a balanced dynamic between youth and experience. Doncic thrives in pick-and-roll situations and is adept at finding open shooters, skills that would mesh well with Lopez's ability to pop out beyond the arc. Additionally, Lopez's defensive instincts and shot-blocking ability would provide a much-needed anchor for a team that struggled to protect the rim during the 2024 postseason. The potential signing of Lopez is not without risk. His declining mobility and inability to keep up with smaller, quicker opponents could be exploited in today's pace-and-space NBA. However, with the right defensive scheme, and assuming Kleber returns to full health, the Lakers could mask some of Lopez's deficiencies while maximizing his strengths. Ultimately, the Lakers front office must decide whether to gamble on Lopez or continue exploring other options to fill the glaring void at center. But one thing is certain: with Anthony Davis no longer in purple and gold, and uncertainty looming over Kleber and Hayes, the Lakers must act decisively if they hope to re-establish themselves as legitimate contenders in the Western Conference. As the offseason unfolds, all eyes will be on Rob Pelinka and J.J. Redick to see how they address this critical need. Whether it's Lopez, another veteran, or a younger up-and-comer, the Lakers can no longer afford to leave the center position unresolved. For a franchise that prides itself on championships, the time to rebuild the foundation, quite literally, is now.